Welcome back for another video. What are the experts up to this game week? Loads of them coming out, some incredible free hits, and it's kind of back to reality now with some dead wood to fix in our teams, while of course trying to remain flexible in case a double Gameweek 36 pops up. So let's run through their transfer plans, captaincy and the experts team. Starting off with the manager highlight, and it's a new name that snatched the top spot in the league. Guy finished on a really solid 98 points on his free hit, and that took him up to 440th in the world. The most impressive part though is there's 3 experts in the top 1k with him now. The climb over the last double Gameweek and blank Gameweek period has been really impressive, and you might remember when we were starting to head into it, lots of them remarked about that and the importance of kind of that crunch time part of the season with doubles and blanks. There's 16 experts in the top 10k now, and there's 56 in the top 50k. 84 points was the experts' average score, 38 points was the overall average. It was never in doubt really, but it's great to see so many of them finishing the season strong. This week, 32% of the experts are going to roll the transfer into Gameweek 36, 50% making 1 transfer, 12% making 2, 3% making 3, and we've got 4% with their wildcard active, and we've got a wildcard team to look at later as well, like what's the best team for the run-in. So let's have a look at the most transferred players then. Flavour of the week of course is Mbeumo, who is comfortably top. 51% are buying the Brentford mid, and 48% are selling Saka as well, with of course the expectation that Saka might be benched against Bournemouth in Gameweek 35. Like, it's all or nothing for Arsenal Champions League now. They're 7 points above 5th, so Champions League football next season is a formality really, and this is their last shot at silverware this season, which could point towards lots of rotation in Gameweek 35. 12% have opted for Bowen. Some of those of course already have Mbeumo, and some are actually preferring him. Back-to-back 9 pointers Bowen's got now. Is it me, or does he really go under the radar, like given how consistent he is every season? 85 returns over the last 4 seasons, so he averages 21 returns per season. He needs 1 more return this season and he'll pass 20 goal contributions, which would basically mean the 22-23 season is the only time in the last 4 years that he's not been able to register 20 plus goal involvements for West Ham. The fixtures are there as well. It's Spurs home, and then it's Man United away his next 2 games, plus he's got Ipswich in Gameweek 38. There's got to be some points in there with those fixtures. Looking back on the season, 19.09 XGI from Mbeumo ranks 5th best, behind a bunch of premiums as well, Salah, Palmer, Haaland and Isak. However, it's worth noting just below him is Wissa. There's not that much between them, and if you don't have a room for a midfielder this week, but you have a sellable striker, then Wissa's a great pick. He's 4th best for non-penalty XG this season as well. Hopefully they can stay together next season at Brentford, because they're an incredible partnership. But yeah, it wouldn't be that surprising if lots of clubs are in for either of them. Just below Wissa there is Watkins as well. He's the other standout striker, 4% are buying him, 10% are buying Wissa by the way. So Rashford's going to miss the rest of the season, and that was ultimately what put a lot of us off Watkins before, because Rashford was rotating in striker with him. So he'll start all 4 games now for the run-in, and he should get very good minutes as well, and it's Fulham home next. 10% are selling Mateta. His minutes have been a bit all over the place as of late. Of course they've had double-doubles, but they've got the FA Cup coming up as well, which is going to be the priority over the league. So yeah, a swap to Wissa or Watkins could be a really strong play this week. There's a few assistant managers activated this week as well. Of course it's a 3-week chip, so Gameweek 36 is your final chance to activate it, otherwise you're just wasting weeks. However, some of them are using it this week, and it's a mixture of Glasner and Pep. Palace of course home to Forest, and that's a table bonus fixture for them, plus there is that chance of a double Gameweek 36 for Palace. Man City also have a chance of doubling. No table bonus this week, but they're home to Wolves where they're heavy favourites to win that one. But yeah, every day that passes, the double Gameweek does get less likely unfortunately. FPL Fish has activated the assistant manager chip, and some interesting selections here which has got me thinking about my team. He's got Martinez in goal, Vardy, Munoz and Conser in defence, Bowen and Mbeumo, Salah, Sarr in midfield, Isak, Marmish and Mateta up front. So he's benched Raya, he's benched Kivior, Livramento and Rashford as well. Obviously Rashford's injured, but double Arsenal bench is interesting. And he's gone in favour of Villa. So Villa do have about the same clean sheet odds this game week, so maybe that's one we need to think about more. If you're in a similar boat, then you can also hedge and just go with one of each. So he's on Pep, assistant manager. Here's what he had to say. After a solid but slightly disappointing free hit score of 84, the gap to the top 10k is closed to 12 points before tonight's games. I'm yet to make any moves, as we'll have 5 Premier League teams in action tonight, plus potential fixture announcements to come. I'll make my moves tomorrow to have the fullest information. My current plan is to sell Saka and Savinho to get Mbeumo and Bowen -4 and to get Guardiola for assistant manager 35 and 36. I think worst case they get 1 win and 1 draw in those fixtures, and that'd be 12 points minimum. If I had fewer points now, I'd be more tempted to take a punt on the table bonus manager, but I'd rather settle for solid points in 35 and 36 and then reassess if a risk is needed in 37. This route also gives me a free transfer in 36 to deal with any further injuries. Mbeumo and Bowen have got great home fixtures this weekend against teams that no longer care about the league, and they should rotate heavily. Similarly, I'd be shocked if Saka plays many minutes in this one, given their huge game in Paris on Wednesday. Savio always feels 50-50 if he'll start, and given Rashford's season-ending injury, my bench is weaker than planned. In retrospect, I should have played the assistant manager in 25 after triple captain Salah in 24. I held on as a double game week 36 was a strong possibility, and it's looking less likely now, so the upside potential of the chip isn't as strong as it could have been, but holding it has allowed me to decide my risk appetite. And FPL Mish has got his wildcard active for Gameweek 35 as well. I didn't get a write-up back for this one, but it's worth going through the team, especially those of you that have got the wildcard active, but it's also worth looking at which teams are worth targeting for the run-in. And it's Pickford, Vardy, O'Brien, Branthwaite in defence, and Mbeumo captain, Bowen, Salah and Rodgers, Watkins, Marmoush and Isak up front, and it's Raya, Kluivert, Williams and Saliba on the bench. So triple Everton defence. I mean, that's very all in, but it does make some sense given they've got Ipswich home and they've also got Southampton home to come in 37. He did mention that a double game week 36 announcement before the deadline would alter his picks, of course, like Marmoush could come back in for Wood. We have seen Haaland back in training, so that may or may not affect Marmoush's minutes as well once he is back in the starting 11. And of course, Wood's got Leicester home in Game Week 36, incredible fixture, and he's got Williams to come off the bench that week. And Kluivert also faces Leicester home in Game Week 38. Thanks for sending in. So on to Game Week 35 captaincy, and it's an absurdly long list this week, which suggests that there's kind of a lack of standouts, isn't there? That said, it isn't Mbeumo's favourite, just 47% though. Marmoush 14%, Salah 14%. If you're chasing, then this is brilliant news because it's the longest list we've had all season. So basically, captaincy is going to be diluted, and that's going to affect effective ownership as well. So getting it right this week has got the potential to offer huge upside still. Last game week, I mean, Salah was the overwhelming favourite, wasn't he? And the week before it was Marmoush and so on. But let us know in the comments who you're going for. Further down the list, Isak's on 8%, De Bruyne 8% as well, and he could be in line for a start against Wolves home after getting a rest in the FA Cup. 4% are going for Bowen. He tends to sort of tick along with smaller, consistent returns, but he's absolutely got it in him to get a couple of attacking returns in a game. Moving on to the experts team for Gameweek 35, and this week it's Raya in goal, Vardy, Munoz and Livramento in defence, Sarr and Mbeumo, Salah, Rodgers midfield, Mateta, Marmoush and Isak up front, Areola, Murphy, Saliba and Konsa on the bench. So Mbeumo joins the team in place of Saka and he gets the captaincy straight away. That Livramento spot, obviously a bit up for debate there. Like, he does offer the most goal threat, comparing him, Saliba and Konsa, but lower clean sheet potential away at Brighton. Like we saw, Fish was benching Cielo in his draft, and that's in fear of Arsenal maybe losing that clean sheet if they rotate. Well, they're definitely going to rotate, but yeah, as a consequence, we might see lower clean sheet odds. Konsa, he's got equally good odds as Arsenal, so he's another one you could consider playing. Finishing up with the experts' final thoughts and tips, Piotr says, assuming there will be no double game week, I want to take a risk and swap players of uncertain minutes, like rotations due to the FA Cup final and Champions League semi-final, for sure ones with good fixtures. I don't see a perfect option for captain, so I plan to choose someone against Spurs and Man United's leaky defence. FPL Sears has got his bench boost active, and he says, the calm after the storm as the dust settles. Free hit, a raging success for basically everyone means a bit of pressure on the bench boost. Looking at my squad, this might be the week to do it. Lots of middling fixtures with some benching headaches. Ben Coleman says, captaincy feels really open this week. I'd like to go for Saka at home to Bournemouth, but the chance of him being benched seems very high, given that match is sandwiched in between the Champions League semi-final legs. It'd probably be Marmoush for me in the end, but Isak away to a leaky Brighton defence also seems a good option. And lastly, Gary Smith says, I'm still awaiting the potential double game week 36 announcements, but it's not looking good with a free hit still up my sleeve. Perhaps FPL should allow you to eBay them for some extra points. Thanks for watching. We'll be back later for the final video ahead of the deadline. See you soon for the next one.